Hi, I'm going to show you today how to apply our matte sheen lacquer water-based top coat to this desk that I just painted. And we're going to use a new tool that I'm very fond of for applying lacquer, especially to large flat surfaces. And it's called a Lambs Wool Applicator, and it's available from Couture. So the first thing I want to talk about is getting ready. So you'll want a paint tray, a stir stick, an opener, obviously, to open your paint. Now, I would like you to zoom in close and look how clean that rim is. Notice that I've used some of this lacquer already. After I use the lacquer, I always clean off my rim with a brush or a foam brush because you want this lid to go on securely. And if you have a buildup of dry lacquer, your lid will not go on securely and air will get into the lacquer and it will compromise the integrity of your lacquer and it won't work up to its peak performance. So often what I do is I take lacquer, especially for classes, and I pour a little bit off into a plastic jar, and then that way we can use that for classes. We never shake the lacquer. We always stir. Just gently stir like that, and that's enough. And now I'm going to pour this into my paint tray. And since I have this brush, I'm going to just clean up the rim with this brush because I'm going to use that brush to clean up my sides. And then come back with the rag. It only takes, 15 seconds to wipe this down. Put the lid back on and listen. Now you know your lacquer's secure in an airtight seal. So, let's get ready. I've got my pan. I've got my applicator. And what I want to do is I want to get this applicator loaded with lacquer. Then I'm going to use this part of the roller pan very gently just to kind of push it around. Now when I first go on here, there's going to be a lot, and I'm going to try to do 3 stripes, come back and reload and work as we're going across. So there's what my Lambs Wool Applicator looks like. I'm going to start in the corner, and I see I've already got some drips on the other side. I'll come catch that in a minute. Look how nice that is. Now I'm just going to go over here and catch these drips. It's usually just really the first time that things start dripping. Now what I'm doing is I'm going back over this one more time and moving across my piece. Now I see that's looking good and it is going to lay down flat. I'm going to leave it alone, and as I move across I start to see that my pad is getting a little drier. So I'm going to do one more stripe, and it's much drier here, so I'm going to reload. Get this in here, get some more on, come right here, and work this in. And then I'll come back one more time. I'll walk over to the other side because I know I have some drips. And I'll just use that as I go along to do the edges of my desk. And I'm using our square zebra brush, and notice I have a blue tape around it. The reason I'm going to hit this one more time because I see that I went over my edges. The reason I have the blue tape around the zebra brush is to signify that that brush I'm only using it for lacquer. This way I'll never contaminate this brush with paint. It will never have any paint residue in it that could possibly tint my lacquer, and we wouldn't want that. So now I've reloaded. I'm going to look at it. Looks pretty good. I'm going to come back one more time. Blend. I'm not pressing super hard, just kind of a light touch. You'll get the feel of it. Now I'm starting to get dry again. Reload. Okay. Overlap a little. I'm always overlapping a little bit as I'm doing this. And I do see right here I'm a little dry, so I have a chance to come back one more time there. Okay, reload. Reload it. And this will definitely be enough to finish this off. And I can even go and do some of the sides or edges or drawers. When I have the lacquer on this, I usually try to use it up on the rest of the piece, and it is pretty easy to use this applicator on almost everything. So what I can do now is I can come along my edges. I love this because it helps blot up any excess. I can just go all around, and it's blending in very nicely, plus it helps me keep a nice edge. And voila! I will let this dry. In 4 hours I can recoat it, and I probably will. If it needs any kind of sanding, I can lightly, very, very lightly, hit it with a 220 grit sandpaper, very lightly. And then when I go back for my second coat, I will go in the opposite direction with the staining pad, going this way. I mean, not the staining pad, sorry. Lambs Wool Applicator, going in the opposite way for the second coat. And we're done.